All right, so folks, y equals mx plus b is not going away anytime soon. That is called slope-intercept form. Folks, what does the m stand for? Slope, also called rate of change. What does the b stand for? Okay, that's also where we begin on a graph. So, and I'm gonna say this in one big old sentence, and we'll see how you guys do here. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, because m is the slope and b is the y-intercept, correct? So if I want to write it in this form, what two things do I have to have? Slope and a y-intercept. Okay, so I'm trying to show you there, it's named this for a reason because you need the slope and the y-intercept. That's why it's called slope-intercept form. You must have those two things. Everybody good? Now, when we do have those two things, you all are good with plugging, oh, is it not going to make my highlighter go here? Oh, no. I'm going to see if it's going to let me do it without it. Okay, I just won't use a highlighter, but that's okay. So, folks, this point right here and this spot right here, you guys, that's just where we fill in the stuff and we leave the y and the x where they are. Correct? We've been doing this? Okay, so let's try it. I am want to write the equation of the line with the following conditions in slope-intercept form. So I got to have a slope, I got to have a y-intercept. In number one, do I have both of those things? Great, so just fill them in. And what's the equation? You all right back there, Luke? Don't worry, we'll get it more interesting here in a second. Okay. Number two, do I have both things that I need? Yes, I do. So what's the equation? Awesome. You guys are on it here. Now, number three, do I have both things that I need? Technically, I do. You all see this point over here, correct? I will ask you, what do I know about every single y-intercept? The x is 0. Is this x in this point 0? Yes, it is, which means this is the y-intercept. And that is only the case if your point starts with a 0. Everybody understand? Okay. So tell me, what's the equation of the line? Or I could also write it as what? Just 3. Because 0 times anything is 0, isn't it, folks? Guys, what kind of line is this that has a slope of 0? Horizontal. A slope of 0 is a horizontal line, which means the y's have to stay the same, which means the y has to be whatever the y is in that point, which is exactly what we did, correct? Take a look at the next one. It says my slope is undefined. What do we know about slope that's undefined? It's vertical because it's too steep. Do I get to start that equation with y equals? No, it has to be x equals because it's too steep. It won't ever cross the y-axis. So, folks, if I know it's vertical, that means that the x has to stay the same the whole time. So what's the x in that point? 9. It's just going to be x equals 9. Those are the easy ones. As long as you know what you're looking at. How we doing here, okay? All right, take a look at the next one. Number 5, do I have both things that I need? Yes, I have a slope, and I know this is the y-intercept because, remember, every y-intercept has an x at 0, correct? Does everybody see that this x is 0? That means this is the y-intercept, so what's my equation? What else could be my equation? What else would be equivalent to that? Y equals what? Yep, there's one other thing that could be equivalent to this. Just negative x, because don't we assume there's a 1 in there? Okay, take a look at number 6 there, last one in this section. Do I have both pieces that I need? Yes, because this x is 0, which means that is the y-intercept. So what is the equation? Awesome. How we doing, folks, with the easy stuff? Doing okay? All right, so what if you are not given both pieces? Seems pretty simple, right? If you're not given both of them, you got to find them. Okay. Well, if you need to find the m, that's the slope, correct? You have two ways to find m. You can either count the rise over the run, or you can calculate it using the formula. The only time I can do rise over run is if I have a graph, correct? Do I have a graph here on any of these? No. So what's the calculation to find your slope? Looks familiar, right? You did that on your quiz on Wednesday. If you need to find the b, you are going to plug into y equals mx plus b and isolate the b. And that's what we're going to be focusing on today. Everything that we're going to do today is going to focus on this. Because if you look at your examples today, I tell you the slope in every single one of those problems. Does everybody see that? Yes? Okay, so we'll save this m stuff for a later day, Monday. Today we're going to focus on finding the b. Sound good? We're ready to go? Okay, take a look at number 1 there. What's my slope? And what variable is that? Oh, is it my slope, the m? Yes. Now, do I know what my y-intercept is? I don't, because it has to start with a 0 if it's going to be the y-intercept, right? We talked about that just a couple minutes ago. This doesn't start with a 0, so that -7 is not the y-intercept. But I do know that this is an x and this is a y, right? And don't I know the formula of y equals mx plus b? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to funnel all those numbers into my formula, and hopefully it's just b left, and then I'm going to solve for it. So look at your numbers up here. Which of those numbers is the y? Equals, which number is the m? Which number is the x? And I'm trying to find the b, correct? So see how all I have left in here is a b? So I can solve for it now. So tell me, what is 4 times -2? Now, how do I solve for b? And what do you get there? Ooh. Just 1, right? Not -1, just 1. So folks, now do I have both of the pieces that I need? Yeah, I have an m and a b, don't I? So can you write me the equation? Do you see how I went back to keeping the x and the y in here? Yes? Okay, all we do is plug in the m and the b, leave the x and the y how they are. There is a lot of steps. And Monday, there's going to be an extra step that gets added in there as well. Okay, so take a look at number 2. Which piece do I need? Do they already give me? I have my slope. That's the first thing I need, right? Now I got to try and find the b. Folks, is this 5 over here the b? No, because it doesn't start with a 0, does it? But I do know that that 5 is an x and this 5 is a y, which means I can plug it all in to find my b. Are you ready? What's my y? There we go. We just funnel everything down into that equation, and now I'm ready to solve for b. What is -1 times 5? How's everybody doing? How do I isolate the b? So what is b? Everybody following Savannah here? Yes? No? Are you okay or not, Gage? Okay. What's my final answer now that I know both of those pieces? What else could I write this as? Both of those things mean the same thing, folks. Neither one is more correct than the other. Why are you looking at me like that? How we doing? All right, let's try it again then. Why do you say it like that? Do you want me to just stop and let you go on your own here? Okay. Well, then I don't really need that comment. Okay. Okay. What is this -2/3? Which is what variable? Is that -2 over there the y-intercept? No, because it doesn't start with a 0, correct? This is just a plain old x. That's a plain old y. So I'm going to use it in my y equals mx plus b formula to solve for b. So let's plug it all in. What is my y? Perfect. Perfect. Now how am I going to solve it then? Times it. So grab your calculator there. What is negative 2/3 times negative 6? 4. And how do I solve for b? Awesome. And b is, okay, I got all the info that I need now. What's the equation? Here we go. There we go. Are you okay? Okay, so I'm going to try and get 3 more in the next 5 minutes. And then I'm going to give you a worksheet for homework, okay? Okay. So what's that? I would agree. Not very long, right? I know. Number 7. I'm on to the back now, folks. I'm going to skip that bottom row. I'm going to go to number 7. 1/2 is the m. What's this 7 over here? Okay. What's the x? And then plus, how's everybody doing? Following? Okay, multiply then. What do you get when you multiply that? Folks, is it okay for that to be written as 3.5? It's not a slope, is it? No, so that's fine. You could also write it as 3.5 if you want. That's okay. How do I solve for the b? So b is, okay, so I'm only got Savannah here. Are you guys keeping up okay? Do we understand? We're all good? I know, she's going fast, right? What's the final answer then? No, the equation. Could you write that as 1.5? You sure could. It's not the slope. The slope is the only part that can't be a decimal. All right, so I'm going to tell you that 8 and 9 are easy. Tell me why 8 and 9 are easy. The slope is special slopes, right? This first one is 0. What kind of line has 0 slope? Horizontal, right? Okay, so that's just going to be y equals something, isn't it? Because this will never cross the x-axis, correct? Would you agree? So they can't have an x in it. So y equals, I'm going to ask you, what does y equal? -8. Perfect, Sarah. It is -8. Because every single y has to be -8 if it's going to be horizontal. What kind of line has undefined slope? Vertical, which means it will never cross the y-axis, which means it can't have a y, which means it starts with what? X equals. So I ask you, what does the x equal? 2. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? Okay, so here's what I would like for you to do. There's a problem right below that is starred, correct? I want you to try that problem that just has the star there. Go ahead. Yep, just the one that has a single star. And that's going to be about all we have time for. They tell you the m, they tell you a point. You have to plug it all in to find that b. Don't forget a negative times a negative is a positive, folks. Not +7, -7. There you go. Everybody doing okay there? Okay, so I'm going to give you a worksheet on this for this weekend. and then we'll see you on Monday. Anything left on that paper is extra credit. So if you need it. Okay? Anything left on that paper is extra credit. Please put your extra credit on the back of your homework. If you're going to do the extra credit, put it on the back of your homework.